Harrison, we've seen so much from you over the last 4.5 years as like the veteran of this team. We don't know what's going to happen this summer, but if this is it for you here in Sacramento, just what do you want your legacy to be, and maybe what's your proudest moment from your time here?
Jeez, it makes it like I'm dying. I mean, look, I think this is a great game. It's a great city, and I think to be able to, come at a point to this team where, we're trying to build something, and there's just a lot of instability, a lot of ups and downs. I think to get it to where we are now, where it's the complete opposite. There is stability, there's a lot of fun, a lot of winning, great atmosphere, super rewarding for the fans. It's great, and I think that I think there's a lot of good basketball left to be played. Collectively, as an organization, all that type of stuff. So, you never know what the future may hold, but I'm proud of where we are.
HB, do you feel like you have an idea, or is it going to be a complete mystery stepping into this summer about your future?
I mean, I'm proceeding as everything's on the up and up. Obviously, great relationship with the guys. Long relationship with the organization. So, the focus is on that and for building for next year until I hear otherwise.
And just given the series, your guys' relationship, it was nice to see that moment with you and Draymond. I don't know kind of what's going through your head, but are you able to maybe shed some light on just what that moment meant to you and maybe what the future holds there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, look, I've never been in a postseason where Golden State hasn't been involved. So I think, there's just a lot of, a lot of memories between, me and all those guys in the locker room. Obviously Barbosa's here. Andre Iguodala didn't play in that series, but just there's just a lot of a lot of family support there, and I think being in a game 7 where you have 3 of the coaches that you've played for, one commentating and 2 are actually on the floor, it's kind of crazy, but it was a great battle, and I think you just you look back on it and cherish those moments. Obviously, we wish you would have came out with the win, but it is what it is.
Sticking on that Golden State theme, in 13 and 14, the Warriors made the playoffs, and some of those guys have talked about how those experiences helped get you guys over the hump in 15. I'm curious if you see similarities to that situation with this one, so that you guys can use this as I don't know, building block, however you want to put it, towards maybe getting to that next level. How it can help you?
For sure. I mean, I think you definitely have to go through the bumps and bruises to get to where you want to as a team. I think to get to the second round my rookie year, and I think as a group, the collective, we thought we were going to kind of take that next step the next year and have a first round exit in Game 7. Was highly disappointing. We felt like we had a better team than that. And the next year to be in the finals, right? It was, all the things you had to go through. So I think for this group, especially because we felt like it was right there. We felt like we were going to be able to, advance and see what happens, and to not have that. Collectively as a group, we felt like we had more basketball left to play. We felt like we as a team were a good team. We felt like we could have advanced. We felt like it would have been a special moment for this organization, this city. But that's the motivation I think coming into the offseason is how do you get better and grow from that.
Harrison, what's your big takeaway from this season with everything that happened, from the beam, the fans, the atmosphere, playoffs, the street, all? What's the biggest takeaway from these past 89 games?
I think really just a breakthrough. I mean, just finally putting things together that worked, and finally getting over that hump as a collective. I think it's one thing if you say, okay, this guy had a good season, but we're on track to get a top 5 pick or top 10 pick, or it's kind of disjointed, like individual success and collective success. But I think like as an organization, as a team, I think for everyone to get to where we wanted to get to, in terms of giving ourselves a shot to advance out of the first round, a goal that we'd set at the beginning of the season, and to see that through, And I think that was big for us. I think as a group, as a collective, and obviously a lot of young guys on this team, new staff. I think, like I said, it carries that momentum into the offseason to get better.
A quick follow-up to that. You said the goal that you set at the beginning of the season, it was stated specifically, get past the first round?
And we wanted a playoff run. I mean, that was what we came into the season saying. I mean, we didn't want to be just a team that, we tried to make it to the playoffs. We tried to make the playing game, and we got swept in the first round. Like, that wasn't our goal and our mentality. We believed we had a good team. We believed we had the opportunity to advance. Like I said, I mean, we got to Game 7, obviously against a very good team, and unfortunately weren't able to advance. But we felt like we had enough in our locker room to do that at the beginning of the season.
HB, do you want to be back here next year? And how important is it to keep this core of that you guys have established, especially the starting five that's been playing basically every game together? How important would that be to keep everybody together?
I mean, it'd be special. I mean, like I've said, I have equity in Sacramento. Just being through a lot of the long seasons, and to finally, like I said, be on the other side of that, and to have a collective experience and feel like I said, we were knocking at the door. Obviously, we didn't advance to Sacramento, but we were knocking at the door to really, I feel like, taking off as a team. I thought that would have been great. And obviously, we've all been around. We know it's a business. A lot of things happen. But to continue on with this group, I think that would be a special thing.
Harrison, when you look back on it, how special was this year for you guys, and where does it rank throughout your career?
Man, I mean, I think in terms of expectations coming into the season and how we performed, I mean, it's one of the more special seasons that I've had in my 11 years, right? Definitely reminiscent to, kind of my rookie year, where no one really gave us a chance, no one really thought we were going to be anything, and you just kind of start winning and start, overachieving expectations, and people kind of are doubting you, and it's never quite, validated until it's validated, right? It's one of those things. So, it's special, I think, just to kind of see the team come together, and obviously, light the beam, all that type of stuff. Everything kind of just worked in concert. So I think that it was nice to win, but also to have a lot of fun, doing it as well.
HB, you got here, I think, in Fox's second year in the NBA. I'm curious to get your perspective on the growth, maybe from him when you first got here to where he is now as a player and a person.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I first got here, I mean, he was a young guy. I mean, he still had long hair. And, I'll never forget, Vlade was talking to me about him, and he's like, I think this guy could be, like a top 5, like point guard in the league. And, I was in Dallas at the time, and, he was one of the guys that, we wanted to draft, but obviously we couldn't move up high enough to get him. And so I'd always been a fan of his game, and I think just to see over the years, obviously the maturation of him as a person, I mean, just growing as an individual, becoming a husband, father, all those things, which has been great to see. But I think just as a player, growing and developing, and then obviously, this year, going up toe-to-toe against Steph, and, kind of validating once again that, you're a superstar on that stage. And I think that's just great to see. I think it's a credit to his hard work. I think his desire to be great. His perseverance, I think, to get through the losing seasons, and just kind of the different coaches, and just all of the things that can, triple player be used as an excuse for why a guy didn't achieve X, Y, and Z potential. I think he's risen above that.
There's a couple quick ones. The first one is, how much pride do you take in your availability at this part of your career, being able to play in every single game?
I take a lot of pride in that. Definitely credit to the team around me, of people who, make sure that my body's right and I'm able to go every single day. I think to be out there for my teammates, one, obviously just to be available, but two, to hopefully just give them an example of it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, we can all, do what we need to do, make the sacrifices possible to give ourselves opportunity to win games. And I think that guys making that sacrifice up here is really what made our season, right? I mean, obviously you see Domas with his hand, obviously you see Fox with his, with his hand in the playoffs. I mean, guys not missing time for that, you know, I mean, it gives us opportunity to win games, it gives us opportunity to keep our season alive. And I mean, if as a collective we're not, you know, making ourselves available, I mean, this season could have been over very, very quickly.
And you seem to enjoy being a complementary player to so many different teammates. Mike spoke at the beginning of the year about individual meetings that he had with you and expressing what your roles were. Now that the season's over, do you mind sharing what specifically he told you about your role with this group this year?
It's funny. I mean, it really wasn't a rule. It was more just like, you know, just go out there and lead, and in whatever form that kind of takes, you take that. You know what I mean? Whether it's defending, whether it's rebounding, whether it's scoring, whether it's, you know, encouraging guys with your voice, whatever it may be. And I think that's what it's about. I mean, we've had so many guys up the year, and I've said it multiple times, who've stepped up and who've allowed us, you know, to win games, who've allowed us to be in great positions, whether it's Malik, Trey, TD, Davion, Alex Lynn, you know, Chimezi Metu, whoever it is, like guys at different points have stepped up and been big for us. And I think that, you know, is the hallmark of a good team. And, you know, Mike's been around that, I've been around that. We know what that looks like. We know there's those guys, you know, on those teams that, you know, they make those sacrifices that let things click. And, you know, for me, I was trying to fill in wherever I could, and whatever was asked of me. And he knew I could do that and try to do it to the best of my ability.
Last Harrison, last season, after the last game, you were pretty outspoken about the organization at that time. You know, players coming in, maybe it was their last stop on the way out the league, and revolving doors with the coaches, and you know, things like that. But it's been a drastic turnaround, a positive drastic turnaround. And to editorialize it has been impressive because you guys won 51 games. So I just want to get your thoughts, your commentary on the organization as a whole right now and the direction that it's going in.
Yeah, I mean, finishing this season on a loss and last season on a loss is definitely different emotions with that. Maybe we won last season, the last game. I don't even remember. It was a blur. But no, I just think that, look, at the end of the day, everyone puts, as players and coaches, you put so much time into your craft, right? You put so much time into like trying to get the most out of yourself, out of your teammates, out of everything you can do to try to win these games. And when you don't get that, there's a natural level of frustration. And you want to be better, not only for yourself, but this is a team sport, this isn't golf, right? Like, you want everyone to do better. And I think to, in a year, kind of change that dynamic, change the national, I think, perspective of Sacramento, the Sacramento Kings, the style of play that we do, kind of what our values are, principles, all those types of things. I think that's one of the more rewarding things, I think, to be a part of, is just to not be the end of the joke every single time in the league, not to be, you know, the team that, you know, people are laughing at, not to be the team that, you know, people aren't proud to be a part of, but it's actually a place where, you know, people, you know, look at you and they respect what you're doing, they respect the way that we play. You know, I think you see, just whether talking to other people, other players, other coaches, referees, media, whoever, who acknowledge that, you know, this is not the same Sacramento they've seen in the past. I think that's huge. So I think just the difference between last year to this year, and having that optimism, that momentum and motivation coming into next season, I think that's huge.
That's one. HB, two questions. One, quickly, do you see a future in politics for yourself? You can be the senator from Iowa someday, or California maybe?
Nah, man, I'm gonna be out of the spotlight, man. I'll be somewhere, probably out in the wilderness, you know, just checking out bank stocks. I'll be
growing the beard.
Wall Street.
Yeah. Secondly, you played 317 games for this franchise now. That's more than any other stop for you. To be here 4.5, 5 years, and to be a part of this breakthrough this year, and to see the city light up and everything that's happened, just how proud are you to be a part of that, and what does it mean to you personally?
It's been great. Like I said, I think just to see the evolution of the team I think the stability that's now here, I think we have, you know, a standard of play that we can say, like, look, this is how we're gonna play. Which we haven't. You know, there was a couple years there, it was, every night was different. So I think just to kind of have that stability, to have guys where you can look around and say, okay, like, you know, these are guys that are going to be, that want to be here. You know, we're able to kind of have consistent, just consistency, organizational consistency. You know, there's, no one's coming to this meeting, we're not saying who's gonna be the GM or who's gonna be the coach next year, you know, to have that going into next year, right? You know, all those things that a lot of people just take for granted, you know, we have that here. So I think that, overall, it's just, it's a lot of relief, I think. It's just, you know, nice to know that, you know, we're trending in the right direction and everything going into the offseason is just really basketball focused. It's not really any other distractions or anything else that you have to try to manage or worry about. It's just, how do you get better, and how does the group, you know, find ways to spend time with each other.
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, appreciate you, thanks for
Like my man.
Yeah.